Good evening. I would like to call to order the Kaiser City Council. It is Monday, December 16th, 2019. Ask our city recorder to please call roll.
Councilor Herrera.
Here.
Councilor Parsons.
Here.
Councilor Smith.
Here.
Mayor Clark.
Here.
Council President Freeman.
Here.
Councilor Reed.
Here.
Councilor Kohler.
Here.
And Youth Councilor Wolford.
Thank you. Would you all please rise if you are able and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening, everyone. I hope everybody enjoyed the parade Saturday night. It was fabulous. We will go to our special orders of business, which is a very special presentation by the Salem and Kaiser for refugees. And Councilor Kohler, would you please introduce the folks who are here with us tonight?
Wow. Thank you, Madam Mayor. So we have Anna and Matthew here with Kaiser for Refugees. I've been working with this organization for 3 or more years, at least, and it's been a lot of fun to see the work that they do and how they do it. They explained to me a couple months ago how some of the recent laws have changed and how they could affect us and affect the people that are going to be have the possibility of being brought into our communities to live from other countries. And so Matthew Westerbrook, right? Asked if it was possible that we could do something like this, and I said, let's find out. And Mayor Clark worked with me, and we were able to pull that off. So we're glad to have him here. I'm excited to see what they have to say, see if it's any different than I usually hear.
All right, well, come on up. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, and we are looking forward to hearing about your work for people in our community.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having us.
Good evening. Thank you so much.
Anna does live in Kaiser, by the way.
Yes, I do. So this is extra fun to be here for me.
So do I dare admit that I live in Portland then? Is that?
We're inclusive.
Okay, thank you.
Matthew,
good evening. My
Matthew
name
works
is-
for Kaiser, or for Catholic Charities. Yeah.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah, so I work with Catholic Charities of Oregon. We have our offices in Portland, but we do refugee settlement also here in Salem in the Kaiser area. Again, hi, my name is Matthew Westerbeck. I'm the Director of Refugee Services for Catholic Charities of Oregon. This is my colleague, Anya Holcomb, with Salem for Refugees. I want to be mindful. This is our time?
No.
Okay.
You are doing an invited presentation.
No, I'll just turn that off.
No, it's fine. We
And
definitely.
I think we have it loaded here as well. And then they will be taking this and broadcasting it through our television channel.
Wonderful. So Mayor Clark, thank you so much for having us. City councilors, thank you. Councilor Kohler, thanks for helping make this happen. So what we're here tonight to do is help kind of introduce what we do on a regular basis in other formats, which is kind of what we call Refugee Resettlement 101, and then explain the partnership that we have with Salem for Refugees in the goals of education and advocacy around the work that we've been doing in Oregon really since the end of World War II as Catholic Charities of Oregon. And then specifically tonight, we want to update the city of Kaiser as we are engaging Marion County and seeking a letter of consent from Marion County. There's a requirement that is going through the federal administration that counties become more engaged and more educated and are given the opportunity to opt in to refugee resettlement. So what we're going to do, usually we take about a good hour plus, depending on the format. We're going to kind of condense it down into about 15 minutes or less for all of you. And definitely we have time for questions, I think, and we kind of schedule it at the end. But if you want to interrupt me as I'm going through, feel free, and we'll just kind of engage as we go along. So what I want to start with is kind of an overview of refugee resettlement. And here in Oregon, like most of the country, refugee resettlement, the current system that we have kind of stems from what started happening after the end of World War II. Excuse me. And after the genocide in Europe. And going in from the late 40s up until about the late 70s, it was really a combination of efforts between the state and faith-based organizations. And then in the late 70s, that morphed into a really structured program that was actually passed in Congress called the Refugee Act of 1980. And what this program does is resettles individuals that have gone through a certain process overseas and through the vetting and screening systems that we have set up. And who we're talking about first is what I want to make sure we're clear on is who are refugees, not what are refugees, but who, because we're talking about people. And there's a particular definition that the United Nations and that the United States signed on to in 1951, that these are individuals that have had to flee their homes because of war, violence, conflict, or persecution. And they've also had to not only flee their homes, but cross an international border. And so currently, that is the definition that the United States still recognizes, and we've been partners in this work with the United Nations and other countries since the end of World War II. And then to highlight how this country has engaged in this work, it's always been extraordinarily bipartisan. If we look back to President Reagan, actually his administration resettled the most numbers of refugees going back to the late 70s. And then Senator Mark Hatfield here in Oregon was a strong champion of refugee resettlement in Washington, D.C. I could help point you to a speech that he gave in 1980 demonstrating his support for this program. And then very recently here in the Salem-Keizer area, your own Senator, Kim Thatcher, voted for House Bill 2508 in June of this year, making Oregon one of the first states in the country to help make sure that refugee settlement is stable by providing state funding for these services. And so some of the other information I want to share with you, just the scale of the work in terms of the numbers of individuals that are stateless or are refugees across the world today. It truly is a global crisis. These are the largest numbers of displaced people at nearly 71 million. I did some quick math before I came in this evening. So 71 million people displaced is larger than the populations of California and Texas combined. And then about 26 million, very nearly 26 million of those people have met that definition of refugee by the United Nations. And so it's just staggering numbers. And what's more heartbreaking, if possible, I mean, it's just hard to wrap our heads around this, is that 50+% of these individuals are children under the age of 18. And what we do with these individuals that we have the honor and privilege to welcome into Oregon and into the Salem-Keizer area is we help them get on their feet. So here's a picture of one of the agencies, that's my employer, Catholic Charities of Oregon, but there's two other faith-based organizations, Lutheran Community Services Northwest and Ecumenical Ministries of Oregon. And this is a picture of community members from Salem helping welcome a new arriving family a couple of months ago, I believe, at the airport in PDX. And actually tomorrow night, at about 8:15 p.m., we are going to be welcoming a family of 3 from Afghanistan. I know it's not a short drive, but we always welcome and encourage community members and the public to join us at the airport to welcome families. So it's a sincere invitation. We really enjoy helping and engage more people in this work, and one of the best ways to do it is through coming to the airport and helping us welcome families. And collectively, all of us have been doing this work in Oregon since about the end of World War II. The 3 organizations that are in Oregon are 3 of the 9 national organizations that do this work across the country. And we all have contracts with the Department of State in order to welcome refugees and provide the services that we are required to do so. And I wanted to touch on some of the refugee screening and vetting steps, just to kind of highlight how difficult a refugee visa is to obtain. That visa is the most difficult visa to obtain to enter our country. There is no more difficult visa of any kind, is it? Be it a student or a business visa, a spousal visa. And I wanted to just run down a list. So here's just it's kind of an alphabet soup of acronyms, but this is all of the organizations that process each refugee application for individuals to be resettled in our country. It's the USCIS, CBP, or Customs and Border Patrol, the TSA, the Department of State, the FBI, the Department of Homeland Security, the Department of Defense, and the National Counterterrorism Center. So all of those individuals at some point in the process, usually at least a 2-year process, sometimes often 6 to 8 years just for that process for our government, we commonly welcome families that have been waiting for resettlement 10 to 20 years. Because of that process, all refugees, when they enter the country, are authorized to work. They are on a pathway to apply for their green cards 1 year after arrival. And then 5 years after arrival, they're on a pathway to apply for their citizenship. And given that they are immediately eligible to work, They are commonly employed within 3 to 6 months. And I want to highlight some of the other economic benefits that we have been proud to share in the past months that we've been working with more community engagement in the legislature. So what's fascinating is, I think, the most profound statement of how hard these families work to rebuild their lives and get on their feet is that within about 20 years, the average refugee household has an income that's $14,000 more than the total average for our country, right? And we all know that most of us who have been here for generations, that we are standing on the shoulders of our parents and our grandparents and benefiting from the work that they did to help build us up. Well, within 20 to 25 years, a new refugee family is likely going to be earning more than our household incomes. They have 1.5 times the rate of entrepreneurship. They have higher labor force participation than the overall public, and they pay back more in taxes than they receive in benefits. So if we wanted to just look at how these communities are impacting our Salem-Keizer areas just through their economic contributions, there's good things to talk about there. I'm going to pause before we hand it over to Anya. Any questions? That's a lot of information in a short amount of time. Thank you.
Councilor Kohler?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just want to reiterate something that Matthew was talking about. I've worked with a couple of different refugee families. These guys are hardworking people. They want to be here. One of the people that I was working with not long ago taught school where he came from, and he started doing landscaping and all those kind of things, and he's worked his way up where he's now over at Don Poncho's doing things a little bit better in the winter. But these guys are hardworking, and most of them know several languages, not just one or two, but like 5 or 6. Very smart people, very hardworking people. It's been a pleasure for me to get to work with some of them.
Thank you, Councilor.
Other questions? All right. Anya.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right. Thanks, Matthew, and thank you, Mayor Clark and councilors, for having us here. My name is Anya Holcomb, and my husband, Doug, and I are co-directors of Salem for Refugees. I wish it could be called Salem and Keizer for Refugees, because that is really what we do, work in both cities, but the name got too long, so we shortened it to Salem for Refugees. I am a native of Keizer. I grew up here in Keizer, and 3 years ago, we built a home next to the home I grew up in, where my parents still live. So this is my community. And so, like I said, it feels like an extra special privilege for me to get to be here with my city council. So Salem for Refugees, we began in October of 2016. And this was a few months after Catholic Charities had expanded refugee resettlement to Salem-Keizer. So before that point, all refugee resettlement in the state of Oregon was happening in and around the Portland metro area. So it wasn't until the end of 2015 that resettlement was expanded here to our community. And the primary reason for that was because of the increased cost of housing in the Portland area. So the resettlement agencies were looking for an additional location where they could resettle refugees, and Salem-Keizer was chosen as that location. When resettlement expanded here, there was really an amazing response from the community in Salem and Keizer. We had people coming out of the woodwork, organizations, volunteers who were excited about refugees coming here, who wanted to get involved and wanted to help. And what we didn't have was a centralized coordinating entity to bring together the people and the resources to really make our community a place where refugees could thrive and where resettlement could happen long-term. A place like Portland has had many years to build the infrastructure for refugee resettlement, and we simply didn't have that here yet. So it was in October of 2016 that Salem for Refugees was formed, and you see on the slides here our mission and our vision to bring people and resources together to empower refugees to thrive in Salem-Keizer, and a vision to see all refugees in Salem-Keizer as valued, thriving, contributing members of our community. And who we are is a network of businesses, nonprofits, government organizations, community organizations, a lot of community members, and about 35 faith communities who all come together to work towards this vision together. So we meet once a month in meetings that we call Welcoming Our New Neighbors meetings. We typically have about 100 people attending those. They're held at Salem Alliance Church. And that's for all these different groups to get together and continue to stay educated, to network, and to develop resources for refugees. We partner closely with the resettlement agencies, primarily Catholic Charities, as well as Lutheran Community Services Northwest, to support our new neighbors. That's kind of the term we use. You'll hear us use that a lot. They are refugees with a very specific status that Matthew talked about, given by the United Nations. But we believe they're our new neighbors. These are people that are living down the streets from us. They're shopping in grocery stores with us. They're attending our faith communities, and we believe they're future leaders of our community. So we like to use that terminology. And some of the ways we support them are through mentor teams. These are teams of 6 to 8 volunteers that are paired with each refugee family to walk alongside them as friends and guides through their journey of resettlement for about the first year. We also have resource teams, and these are 11 different teams that develop infrastructure and provide resources for refugees in key areas. So those include areas like housing, employment, education, English, healthcare, transportation. And through those, we've gotten to develop this infrastructure with amazing community partners like Chariots. West Salem Clinic has developed a program to provide all the health screenings required for refugees that weren't available in Salem-Keizer before then, working with Salem-Keizer Public Schools, working with multiple businesses, Don Poncho, Kettle Chip, Sparrow Furniture, to develop a network of employers. So these resource teams have been really essential to developing the infrastructure that we've needed. And then we also provide donations of furniture and household items to set up homes for newly arriving families, as well as financial assistance, where families can apply for assistance as they're working on getting on their feet. We have gotten to help resettle over 300 refugees in Salem-Keizer since the end of 2015, and they have come from 12 different countries. And you'll see those up on the screen: Iraq, Iran, Afghanistan, Syria, Somalia, Democratic Republic of Congo, Ivory Coast, Pakistan, Sudan, South Sudan, and Ukraine. And I wanted to tell you, I wish I could tell you stories of every family, because these truly, like Councilor Kohler mentioned, are incredible people, resilient, hardworking, hospitable. But I want to just tell you the story of one family, just to kind of paint a picture. So I'm going to call him Abbas, and he is from Pakistan, and he is a single dad with 4 daughters who arrived here about 2.5 years ago. They had been from a minority religion and had faced persecution in their home country of Pakistan. They were actually attacked by extremists there, where Abbas was significantly injured, and where it sent his wife into early labor, and she ended up dying in childbirth because of that, which left him as a single father with 4 children. So he then fled to Thailand with his daughters, and eventually got approved for resettlement and was brought here to Salem-Keizer. When we helped pick them up at the airport, the family had 2 suitcases which had all of their belongings that they owned that had come with them. Abbas spoke only a few words of English, and one of his daughters has some significant mental health challenges that she was facing. So when they first arrived, we arranged for them to live in a host home with a family here in Keizer for the first few weeks. And they ended up becoming like family to them. These 2 families are incredibly close friends to this day. We paired them with a mentor team who helped them to get to know the Salem-Keizer community, taking them to places like parks and the beach, helping teach how to grocery shop, open a bank account, helping go to numerous medical appointments, learning how to ride the bus, filling out paperwork, helping the girls to get enrolled in school. And then there were resource teams that helped them with things like getting a job. Abbas has been working at Sparrow Furniture down on Broadway Street and actually just got a new job working at Goodwill, which he's very excited about. That had been his goal. Helping them get their green cards. The whole family has their green cards. He's been taking English classes. His English is doing very, very well. Getting the healthcare resources that were needed for his children, particularly one of his daughters, getting into an affordable apartment in a good location, and one of his big goals being able to get his driver's license, which he now has, and has his own car that gets him and his family around town. A little over a year ago, his sister and her husband were able to join him. They were also refugees, and it was a pretty incredible reunion at the airport when she and her family arrived. And they are also now here in Salem Kaiser and doing very well and love having that support of the two families being together. Abbas loves his job. He's providing for his family. He communicates well in English. His girls are healthy and happy and thriving in school. He said it was the dream of his wife that her daughters would get an education, something that they had not been able to attain in their home country. And now he is able to fulfill that dream for her. So he is one of the most hospitable people that you will ever meet. Here's a picture of him cooking. If you ever visit his home, you will have one of the most amazing meals of your life. And I can say with full confidence that Salem Kaiser community is a better place because Abbas and his family are here. And there are so many other stories like his that I could tell you, but I just wanted to kind of give you a little window into these incredible families and what a privilege it is for us, and I know for Catholic Charities, to be able to walk alongside these families as they make this place their home. So do you have any other questions for me or Matthew about refugees in general or refugee resettlement in the Kaiser community?
And the partnership that we have with Salem for Refugees as well. It's a very unique partnership that we have with them. I wanted to kind of highlight how amazing of a partner they are. So the Department of State is one of our main contractors in order to do this work. They have come out to the Salem Kaiser area twice in the past 2 years to visit and witness the work that we're doing in conjunction. They see that what we're doing here is really almost unparalleled in anywhere else in the country in terms of the type of community engagement and support and just the robust level of collaboration that we have and that we are able to provide in terms of welcoming our newest neighbors. But again, questions or thoughts that you have?
Questions? Councilor Reed?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I have had the opportunity to see this from the school perspective. I had one young man from, he was from a couple of different places, but Somalia was one of them. But anyway, he crammed 12 years of education into 3 years and graduated on time. And he was really amazing in his dedication and his hard work with that. But just furthermore, I've had other students as well, and they really enrich the other students as the other students understand what's going on in the world and put a face to it and see that how blessed we are, first of all, being in Kaiser, but just whatever they might hear on the news to have somebody that they know who has been through something that is being talked about or similar, and just to try and conceive of the horrific challenges that some of these people deal with. So having these people in our community is a benefit to all. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that comment. That's neat to have that personal experience. And we've seen that as well with the other children in the schools benefiting from the friendships with these kids.
Other questions or comments? Councilor Herrera?
I just want to take time to thank you folks for your work. I think it's great that it's a need that's being met by you folks. As a person who works with our immigrant community, I really appreciate your work you do, and it's great to see the pictures of the happy faces, and that's just wonderful work. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
It is an honor and a true privilege to be a part of this work. Absolutely. I mean, to kind of put it in perspective too, the sheer numbers are hard to wrap our heads around, but then when we realize as a country, as a global response, there's only 0.4% of these individuals that will be resettled. And so to be able to be part of helping them as they rebuild their lives it's a very rewarding work and incredibly special to be doing that in partnership with the Salem Kaiser communities.
Well, I would concur that getting to know the students and the families do enrich your life. One of my roommates in graduate school was from Tehran. And this was before you guys were born, during the hostage crisis that was happening at that point. And her family had lost family members. She was trying to get her daughter out, and living through that with her as she navigated, being a part, trying to finish her graduate program, deal with family and so forth. She touched my life and the lives of the others in our house in a very significant way. And for our students to be able to meet and know these wonderful young people and these families, I think really enriches our community. So thank you for choosing Kaiser and Salem as a place to make a new home.
Question. So just out of curiosity, so when somebody's resettled, I'm assuming they've never heard of a place like Kaiser before, or Salem. I mean, they've probably heard of New York, Chicago, some of the bigger places. And after they get over the disappointment of coming to Salem instead of New York, I'm assuming, how long do we typically see them stay in the community? Is this a permanent resettlement? Do most of them stay here and make family and roots here, or do they stay here, get settled, and then move somewhere else, typically?
Good question.
Yeah, I would say the majority of families who've been resettled here have stayed and really made this their home. We have had a small handful of folks who get here, and the most typical cases have been those with which, for some reason, in whatever the overseas processing has been, it was not noted that they had relatives in New York or in Arizona or so then they arrive, I have a brother, that's in Ohio. And so a few weeks later, they're on a plane to Ohio. So we have had that happen in a small handful of cases. And then, maybe 2 or 3 families who have been here a year and then decide they're going to go to where there's a very large Somali community in, is it Minnesota? Minnesota. But really the vast majority have put down roots. I think the unique thing about Salem Kaiser, rather than it being a big city where it's easier to just sort of get lost in the bigness of it, they kind of have special status here in the community because the community has been so supportive. And so they do just get a lot of support and friendship extended to them here. And we've had families comment about that. And so I think this has ended up being kind of a special place for families to come. And we've had a cool thing happen, which is that now we have some families overseas who, once they've been approved for resettlement, have actually requested Salem Kaiser as their resettlement spot because they've heard through the pipeline of people they knew in the refugee camp who are now here that this is a good place to come. So we've had that on a couple instances as well.
Thank you.
That's beautiful. So if people want to know more, what's your website?
SalemForRefugees.org.
Yeah, salemforrefugees.org.
And then CatholicCharitiesOregon.org. And Councilor Kohler can also share my contact information and Arnie's as well if
Yeah.
you have more questions or just want to follow up. Or you find out how to meet me at the airport tomorrow night or a little after. I would love to have anybody that's able to make it.
Which airline?
Hold on.
You are also, any of you, always welcome to our monthly Welcoming Our New Neighbors meetings. Those have been a great community forum. A broad cross-section of the community participates in those. They're every first Monday of the month at noon at Salem Alliance Church.
I know we have a community listing page on our website, and if we don't have this organization linked in, can we go ahead and get them added? All right.
That would be great.
So a link
Thank
from
you.
our webpage as well. Thank you so much. Any other?
Well, I was gonna,
Yes.
if it's okay, Councilor Kohler, I will text you that rather than have it be public knowledge, if that's all right. Because I just remembered
This is broadcast.
this is broadcast, so I need to
But we're inviting,
share that more privately, if that's
inviting the
okay.
community to come.
What's that?
We're inviting the whole community to come.
Yes, and I would like more people to, thank you for supporting that. I appreciate that.
All right.
Yes.
Well, anything else? Thank you so much. Truly the heart of the season of giving. You've helped us remember what it's about, person to person. Thank you so much, and you have a very, very happy holiday and blessed New Year, and welcome to the new family arriving tomorrow.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much.
Thank
so
you.
much, everybody.
So we're going to continue with good news and go to our committee reports. And Matt Lawyer is here to talk to us about our parks.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, council, staff. For the record, Matt Lawyer, Kaiser Parks Advisory Board, and citizen of Kaiser. I'm going to touch on that a little bit. I actually last fall got to participate in moving of a family that was here in Salem, and you know, it was probably a fantastic 4 hours spent with that family and just seeing how appreciative they were of the efforts and the opportunity to live in our community. So it's pretty cool, and if you've had the opportunity to work with any of the families, it's pretty awesome. So thank you for sharing that, guys. We had our first, well, I guess our last Parks Board meeting for 2019 last week. It was a pretty light agenda for the most part. A couple key things that we went over were inventory of bicycle racks throughout the park system. That was a project that Wayne Fry took on. He provided the list, and then we kind of asked for some direction from that list. And I think he's going to work with Robert and some other folks to see what we can do about trying to improve access for bicycles at many of our parks. So that'll be a project to come. One of the other big discussions was a follow-up from our November meeting where Wayne Fry had come in with a grant proposal for replacement soccer goals out at Country Glen Park. And a consistent theme of that project was the lack of use of that facility. And one of the things that I promised to do with Wayne was follow up and see if we could get some information about the community's response to being able to have soccer at that field. And by and large, most people that responded to the survey said that they didn't even know there was a soccer opportunity at that field. And of those group of people that did not know, the majority of them were very welcoming of the idea for use probably through the spring and mid-fall timeframe. And so it was a really good discussion and something I think that'll show good use there now that people are aware. You know, one gal responded and said, yeah, I saw the nets there, but I didn't know they were for soccer. And so just kind of advertising it, getting it out there a little bit more, because we know how much Councilor Herrera loves seeing people in his park. So that's good. It also brought up just some other conversations in general from the soccer community in Kaiser, and they were looking for additional opportunities outside of Claggett Creek and Whitaker. So we're going to hopefully continue that conversation. Beyond that, not a lot going on. Parks are wet and usage is still up. Every time the skate park is just a little bit dry, there's still people out there skatering and scootering and having lots of fun. So it was a good wrap up of the 2019 year. Again, continue to acknowledge the hard work that our park staff have put in this year, and the tremendous amount of huge projects they got done is pretty awesome. So really proud of the efforts of the Parks Board and staff this year, and looking forward to all the wonderful things we're going to be able to do next year. So,
Thank you so much. Any questions? All right. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. That takes us then to public testimony. This time is provided for citizens to address the council on any matters other than those on the agenda scheduled for public hearing. We have one public hearing tonight, the Fraternal Order of Eagles liquor license application. So if you're here to talk to us about anything other than that, you are welcome to address the council at this time. I don't have anybody else signed up, but it's an open forum. If anybody would like to, going once, going twice, then we will go on to our public hearing. Okay. Item 7A, open a public hearing for the Fraternal Order of Eagles liquor license application. City Manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. On November 22nd, 2019, the city received an application for a new liquor license for Willamette Airy number 2081 Fraternal Order of Eagles located at 4090 Cherry Avenue Northeast in Kaiser, Oregon. The application is for a full on-premises sales nonprofit private club license. As required by Kaiser ordinance, a public hearing was scheduled, notice was published, and mailed to all property owners within 200 feet of the proposed establishment. Kaiser Police Department completed a background check on the applicant and found no reason to recommend denial of the application. In addition, the Community Development Department finds the location to be properly zoned and had no additional comment. It is recommended the public hearing be opened to allow testimony from the applicants or other interested individuals, and upon completion, the hearing be closed. It is further recommended the council recommend approval of the application for the Fraternal Order of Eagles under the guidelines as established by ORS 471.178 and the ordinances of the City of Kaiser, and then the recommendation will be forwarded to the Oregon Liquor Control Commission. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
All right, thank you very much. Any questions on the staff report? Okay, I do have 3 people signed up. Ann Madsen, did you want to testify? So you just signed in and let us know you're here. Okay. Tom Moss? Same. Okay, and Reese Miller?
I will testify.
All right, come on down.
We got one.
I want to
If you just give your name and city of residence for the record, and then the time is yours, sir.
I'm Reese Miller, a trustee of the Fraternal Order of the Eagles. And I want to point out, this is a liquor license, but we're trying to go beyond that. We're working with the Board of Health for food. We are doing extensive cleanup, making the lodge functional, which has not been for some time. We hope to be an active part of the community, the citizens and the businesses in Kaiser. We provide active entertainment as well as alcohol.
Which is passive.
Yes, I just want you to know that it will go one step beyond. If you've been by where our lodge is on Cherry Avenue, you'll notice that we've done a lot of trimming the trees to make access more functional and safer. We're putting in a real effort to clean it up and make it a valid part of the pretty
Wow.
Well, we've noticed it's looking very nice. Thank you. Any questions?
I do have a question, actually, and I'm pretty sure it's the same question. So will you be cohabitating with the PGN, or have they moved out of the building? The patient grower network that was there, the previous business?
Yeah, they are out, we are in.
Very good, thank you.
Yeah, no, we are alcohol, there will not be marijuana use or any illegal or legal drugs that we're promoting. It's strictly food, alcohol.
All right, we got one more question from Councilor Parsons.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So before it was the PGN, wasn't the Eagles there before?
Yes, they were,
Okay, and
for
so.
a number of years.
Okay, and now you've come back, and so what's your membership at right now then?
We have about a little under 400 in the Aries.
Okay.
And several hundred in Ladies Auxiliary. We have 2 parts.
Oh, okay, great, thank you.
So
Very nice.
we're working on parking, handicap, everything to be a good community resident.
Well, thank you. Very good. Yes, looking forward to you opening. Councilor Kohler, did you have a question?
I do, thank you, Madam Mayor. So this closed down, what, about 3, 4 or 5 years ago?
Probably closer to 10 or 12, I believe.
It was a while.
Years ago. We haven't been closed. We've been in the Salem area on Pence Loop. We are not the Kaiser Eagles or the Salem, we are the Willamette Eagles.
Okay.
But yeah, it's been quite a while. The building was one heck of a mess. We've had to take out all the carpet, anything textile because of odor. And I can't blame it all on marijuana because we smoked heavily in that building before. We will not now, but anyway, we're trying to make it clean and functional.
Thank you.
All right, well, welcome back to Kaiser, and we wish you all the very best.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Would anybody else like to speak to this issue as part of the public hearing? All right, seeing none, close public hearing. Council President Freeman.
I move that the Kaiser City Council recommend approval of the application for Willamette Area Number 2081 Fraternal Order of Eagles under the guidelines as established by ORS 471.178 and the ordinances of the City of Kaiser, and then forward this recommendation to the Oregon Liquor Control Commission for final approval.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded that the Kaiser City Council recommend approval of the application for Willamette Area Number 2081 Fraternal Order of Eagles under the guidelines as established by ORS 471.178 and the ordinances of the City of Kaiser, and forward this recommendation to the Oregon Liquor Control Commission for final approval. Discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you so much for coming tonight. We appreciate it. That takes us to item 8A, which is administrative action, resolution dissolving the Festival Advisory Board, FAB, I think it's KFAB, repealing R 2011-2155 and R 2015-2551. City Manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, City Attorney.
Thank you, Chris, Madam Mayor, and Council. This matter came before staff based on a request from Councilor Parsons, in which Councilor Smith, Reed, and Freeman joined with regard to dissolving the Festival Advisory Board. And they may speak to this, but the board has little to do and the meetings are pretty short and infrequent. So the proposal was to dissolve the board, and the remaining function was basically just the city-sponsored concert series, and to have the Parks Board approve the band. The other item that they did was really more something that staff can handle with regard to the events calendar. And so that is before you tonight. The recommendation is to adopt the attached resolution, which dissolves the Festival Advisory Board. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. Any questions on the staff report? Councilor Parsons.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yes, this actually came before me from a couple of the members on the committee who had stated that they thought that their time would be well spent doing other city business, probably things that are more pressing in the community. And we felt like that every year as we went on, we were getting less and less responsibility on that committee. So I went to other councilors and asked them what they thought, and they agreed. So that's the reason why we're doing this. So just so you know.
All right. Councilor Reed.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. When I first got on council, I was assigned to the Festival Advisory Board, which was just in time for the Eclipse Festival. So that was a huge responsibility at that time. It was the committee in conjunction with the Parks Foundation and other things. So that was a huge, it was definitely necessary for that. And Councilor Parsons was heading it at the time and did a fantastic job in taking care of all those logistical details and so forth. But just since I've been on there since, we haven't had nearly as much to do, and it makes sense to roll this into other things. And if we ever have an eclipse again or anything, we can always build a subcommittee perhaps of the Parks Board or deal with that in another way.
Not me.
Yeah, well, not you, no.
No, but we'll be using your notes.
Yes, but that was a huge undertaking. But just, to acknowledge that there's been some really important work done on that board, but its time has more or less passed, so.
All right. Years ago, this all started from a task force looking at festival and events locations around Kaiser and then how they may be capitalized on. So a report came out of that task force, and the Festival Advisory Board was born from that, with the idea of, are there opportunities that would present themselves, the eclipse being one of the major ones that did come out of that, and the idea of doing the holiday calendar gathering, that also came out of that group. So there's been some pieces that were very helpful, and unlike other governments, maybe we know when to say, hey, mission accomplished, we've got it done, and moving on to some other things. So thank you all for the work, not only you guys, but the people who have been on that in the past several years to help make that happen. Any further questions? Council President Freeman?
I move that the Kaiser City Council adopt Resolution R 2019 dissolving the Festivals Advisory Board, KFAB, repealing Resolutions R 2011-2155 and R 2015-2551.
Second that.
It's been moved and seconded that the Kaiser City Council adopt Resolution R 2019, dissolving the Festivals Advisory Board, FAB, repealing R 2011-2155 and R 2115-2551. Discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. Item 8B is an ordinance amending the Kaiser Development Code regarding Section 2.403, Shared Housing Facilities, amending Ordinance 98-389. City Manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. City Attorney?
Thank you, Chris, Madam Mayor, and Council. Last meeting, Council directed staff to prepare an ordinance approving the KDC text changes with regard to shared housing or accessory dwelling units. And you may recall that discussion, so we made the changes that you directed us to, and that ordinance is before you for your consideration, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
All right, thank you very much. Any questions on the staff report? All right, Council President Freeman?
I move that the Kaiser City Council adopt a bill for an ordinance amending Kaiser Development Code regarding Section 2.403, Shared Housing Facilities, amending Ordinance 98-389.
Second that.
It's been moved and seconded that the Kaiser City Council adopted a bill for an ordinance amending Kaiser Development Code regarding Section 2.403, Shared Housing Facilities, amending Ordinance 98-389. Any discussion? I would point out that there's been a tremendous amount of discussion on the statewide level regarding shared housing and housing opportunities. And I'm really happy that we are moving forward with this to make sure that we have as many options available for affordable housing types within our community. So thank you, appreciate this. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. That takes us to the consent calendar. Council President Freeman, would you please read the items on tonight's consent calendar?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We do have 3 items on the consent calendar tonight. Item 9A is a resolution approval of field usage rates for the 2020 season at Kaiser Little League City Park. 9B is a resolution appointing municipal court judge pro tem. Item 9C is approval of the December 2nd, 2019 City Council regular session minutes.
Thank you. Are there any items that anyone would like to pull? Council President Freeman?
I move that the Kaiser City Council adopt the consent calendars, items 9A, B, and C.
Second it.
The consent calendar has been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. Liaison reports. Councilor Herrera, can we start with you tonight, sir?
Sure. Yeah, last week was a busy week. We had a nice trip to Denver. Also, I want to say that the Festival of Lights Parade, is that the correct way of saying that? That was pretty fun. It seemed like it was a little shorter, but I still think that my grandkids had a great time. So that was a lot of fun. Tomorrow I have the Marion County Public Safety Coordinating Council Executive Meeting. It's a lunch meeting tomorrow, so we'll be there. And Matt did a great job on the parks thing. And that's pretty much all I can think of right now. You caught me off guard there. But I will say this, I want to wish everybody, are we going to have another meeting before Christmas?
Nope.
Well, I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year and the whole works, okay? So be safe and be kind, okay? Thank you.
Thank you very much. And if you think of something, we will circle back.
Okay, you caught me by surprise.
Councilor Parsons.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So I attended the tree lighting, which started off this whole holiday thing. It seemed like it was just yesterday, but it was really 2 weeks ago. And that was always fun. Lots of people, lots of carols, and, 2 little joyous kids that got to turn the lights on. On the 5th, I had the Casa Luncheon, which was attended by a room full, probably 400 or 500 people. What an amazing group. CASA is, which is Child I knew I was going to, thank you, court-appointed special advocates. My husband's a CASA, and I always just say CASA, but it was a wonderful luncheon and well-attended, and the support is greatly appreciated by Shani, I know. I attended the work session on emergency management. Thanks, Roland, for bringing that information to us. I brought it home and hung it up on the fridge and haven't done anything since, but I will.
That's what I forgot.
So at least it's there. I attended also the chamber board meeting where the really biggest topic of discussion was going to be the parade and how the logistics was going to work out. And I also attended the parade. I was on Chemawa and River Road, and it was a lot of people there. All of a sudden, they closed Chemawa, and I don't know where those people came from, but like 500 people charged that road, and I was like, whoa, where'd these guys come from? But I thought it was well attended. I don't know how many people were on the parade route, but if it was any indication of where I was, there was a lot of people out there. So it was a little cold, but at least it was dry. And also well done by the chamber. I attended also the Chamber Rotary Luncheon, where the McNary Choir came in and sang some very, very nice songs. What a great group of kids and great singers. I tell you, McNary just does it right. I don't know who that teacher is, but he just gets so excited listening to him sing. He just sits back and just shakes his head and claps and goes along with him. So I thought that was really nice. I also attended the Marion County Commissioners Breakfast. And the Sheriff Joe Cass, that was the first time I really got to meet him from the times I went, but that was a nice meeting, as it always is. And then our next meeting is not till 2020, so again, like Roland, I will echo happy holidays and happy new year, and no more meetings the rest of the year, so I'm excited about having a couple weeks off. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Councilor Smith.
Oh, thank you, Madam Mayor. So that was a fun 2 weeks. I think we just packed in like every possible event within 14 days. It just felt like every day was 1 to 2 events. Like, hey, and I did attend the Casa lunch and the tree lighting, the parade, there was work session. So it was just one thing after another. My husband's actually like, you're going to burn yourself out. I'm like, it's only for 1 month. We got it. We made it. So it was a ton of fun. I did get to attend the Marion County Commissioners Breakfast, and that was really interesting. Got to meet the new sheriff, Joe Cast, really nice guy. Had a great conversation with Commissioner Cameron and Commissioner Willis. So very, very nice to get together with them, and they always just rave about how much they just love Kaiser. They're like a big city with a small town feel, and we're pretty proud of that. It was really enjoyable. Councilor Parsons was with us. Did the Charter Review Committee. That is a big project, and Shannon is just doing a wonderful job. He didn't think that my limitation of 90 minutes was a good idea until the second meeting. And then he realized when he had to bring in extra help that 90 minutes is pretty much as we can do. So I would highly encourage people to attend that meeting. It's once a month, but it's really important information and information we need to get out to the community about how you want to see this city run in the future. It's a really big deal. So please take a moment to come and listen, or at least give us feedback. If you hear it, see it, give us some input.
When's your next meeting?
January 20th,
January 7.
See, that's why we like having him right there. The other thing is, obviously, there was that restaurant that opened up at the Kaiser Station, and yeah, the In-N-Out Burger, which I'm like, we just got 2 councilors didn't say a word about In-N-Out. I'm like shocked. We did go and got an animal-style burger. I wanted to just say, welcome In-N-Out to Kaiser, and I hope that they're feeling the love. I know that when you get a 4-hour, I think the maximum I saw on social media was up to 4-hour wait. It was
5.5.
5.5. But the thing that I saw on social media a lot was people saying, what a fun family activity. It was the most time that they could capture their children in the car and have that one-on-one time. I was like, well, who knew? So, but the one thing I wanted to share was a message on social media from Kim McKay, who said, for comments, I would pass on a very big well done to the city of Kaiser and whomever coordinated with In-N-Out. I frequent that area regularly. Not once has there been anything negative. It could not have been managed better. Very well done. And then a couple people second that. So the feedback on social media has been extremely positive as to how the traffic has been handled and what little interruption it has for a day-to-day operation. So congratulations to the entire team for the work that you guys did on that. So
Yes.
big round of applause. And And that's all I got. Happy holidays.
All right. Thank you very much. Council President Freeman.
Well, I know a lot's been said. The work session, Roland, I do appreciate that, and Bill, I too took mine to work because we've been talking a lot about it at work, having a go bag at work because something could happen, not just at home, but you need to be prepared at work too. So I'm sharing it with our safety team. Thanks to all the volunteers for the tree lighting and the parade, because without the volunteers, those events wouldn't be happening. I did have the privilege of being a sound judge, which doesn't probably sound very difficult, but you really, it is kind of challenging. So, but it was great to see the turnout. I was at Wallery Plaza and it was packed. So I think there seemed to be a lot more people out, and yes, it was cold, but you can bundle up for the cold, and I'm just thankful the rain held out. I did attend the Charter Review Committee. I did miss the November meeting, and we covered a lot. It was great, and I would echo Councilor Smith, if you can come and listen to those conversations, please do. But really look in the next maybe couple months, we will be having public hearings because we're going to have a draft to share with everyone, and we really, there's been some really good suggestions so far, and we have our parking lot list. So we're going to come back, we're going to get through it, and then we're going to come back to some of the things that we know we need to have a bigger discussion around, and then share that back out with our community. Thank you to Councilor Parsons for attending the Marion County Breakfast. I do want to give a shout out to the West Kaiser Neighborhood Association, along with the Southeast Kaiser Neighborhood Association, for collecting food. They had barrels up at Bi-Mart and Copper Creek Mercantile, and Dennis Blackman was matching the food collected at Copper Creek on Saturday the 14th, $1 for every pound that was donated, so that's really nice for one of our businesses to do that. I had the opportunity to attend the Casa Lunch with pretty much everyone at this dais, and so my first luncheon, and was very well attended, and I love the stories, and there's always a tearjerker in the room. So anyone knows me, if I see someone cry, I'm the biggest sap after that, so.
Yeah, that did happen, yes.
Yes.
Me too.
I would like to also just thank the community for supporting our local businesses. I'm grateful In-N-Out Burger is here. It's been a long wait. One of my coworkers went for lunch on Saturday, decided to come back for dinner. They started at 9 and were done at 1 a.m., but they had a great time. But they went to another restaurant within Kaiser Station for lunch, and it was packed. And I know businesses on River Road have been packed. So the community is really supporting all of our businesses, and I just think the hype of burgers must have everyone coming out for dinner. So I want to say that to everyone. Again, I will echo Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and have a safe, enjoyable holiday. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councilor Reed.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I attended the community band Christmas concert, and that was wonderful. It was just a lot of fun, and it was a great way to kick off the season. There are many things that kick off the season, but that was an excellent addition. We had the Southeast Kaiser Neighborhood Association meeting, but we did not have a quorum for the second or possibly third month in a row, and so that is concerning to me. I wish we would get more people coming out to those, because we need to have some important conversations, and we need that participation. So if you are in the Southeast Kaiser neighborhood area, please join us the first Thursday of every month for those discussions. I went to the Santaland Diaries from the Kaiser Homegrown Theater. That was a fantastic production, and really a lot of fun. They'd never done a Christmas show before, and so that was an interesting new tradition. Several of us did food collecting for the Miracle of Lights, Gupser Neighborhood Light Fest, and that was a lot of fun. The rain did not hold out for that, but nevertheless, we had a good time there. And again, a huge thank you to the skippers and other families who are involved with collecting that food and making sure that it goes to our Marion County food share that we then benefit from our Kaiser Food Bank as well. So thank you to all those families who are involved in that, and thank you for letting us participate. And also a big thank you to all the other organizations who are volunteering to man that post during the season. I also went to the McNary concert, one of the 3 McNary concerts last week, and that was really amazing. Both the band, orchestra, drama department, choir, all were doing something, and they had a little different something every night that week, and it was just an amazing concert and lots of fun. Lots of people put in so much hard work, and we really appreciate that addition to our community. And that's about all I have. Merry Christmas to all, happy holidays to all, and Happy New Year.
Thank you very much. Councilor Kohler.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I have a couple things here. The tree lighting was a lot of fun. Thank you for all that made that happen. On the 7th, Scouting for Food happened, and they collected almost 10,000 pounds of food for different banks around. And
Bravo.
some of them were different churches they went to, and some went to our Marion Polk Food Share, which is always a great thing. On the 7th, I attended the snowman dance and got to see a lot of young people do a lot of interesting dances. It was always fun. I happened to have a granddaughter in there, so that was fun too. And that same night, we did the holiday lights that Councilor Reed talked about, and I got to go to the In-N-Out open house. That was a lot of fun. And on the 8th, I went to the Salem Youth Symphony concert and saw a lot of our kids playing some instruments, very high level musicianship in that group. It's a lot of fun. Of course, the work session, and then the 11th, 12th, and 13th were the music programs, and went to the chamber luncheon, and the Latino Business Alliance meeting. I attended that. Good program there. Motivational speaker. It was just a lot of fun. I really commend the LBA for their partnership with the Kaiser Chamber. I see great things going to be happening there. It's just really neat to watch. And also was the Traffic Safety Bike Ped Committee meeting that day. And we got to say goodbye to Kathy Lincoln from that committee. I just want to say thank you for all the work that she did with that committee, and I'm sure she'll continue to do other things. She's also on the Charter Review Committee, so I know she's doing some good things. I helped with the Jingle Dash before the parade, and then after the parade, I got to help with disbursement. So I got to see everybody go by at least once. And let's see, my dad would say, bah humbug, make sure you have blue lights on your Christmas trees, because that's the way it is. He had to be blue. But no, Merry Christmas.
Thank you very much. Just a couple of things to add. Let's see, on the 4th, it was the SEDCOR, which is the Strategic Economic Development Corporation Board of Directors. We had a report on the Salem Hospital expansion. So most of you have probably seen online or in the paper that they're going to be adding a building to the east of Building A. So construction is getting underway. They have parking down at the old Kmart at 25th and Mission. That'll be some of the staging. So you're going to see that over the next 18 months to 2 years as they build that new building. But they were talking about the need for capacity, that they are running pretty close to full now, and that is not a good thing. So they have to have additional capacity as our population expands, and some of us might be getting a little bit older, but not me. The same day, then I had the Midway-Willamette Valley Council of Governments Executive Committee getting ready for the board meeting, which is tomorrow afternoon. Be my second to last board meeting as the chair before I pass on the gavel. So we've been talking about class and comp for the employees, looking at some of the due structure, and just getting ready for 2020, the types of services that need to be offered for the cities within Marion, Polk, and Yamhill counties to make sure that the COG is able to stay very current on what cities need We've added legal services, now looking at possibly human resources and other assistance especially for our small cities that can't afford to hire full-time staff. So we're trying to collaborate. Really, really exciting was on Monday the 9th, a week ago today, was the groundbreaking at Chemawa Station. This has been a long time coming between the leadership of the Confederated Tribes of the Grand Ronde and the Confederated Tribes of the Siletz. Together, they own that land in what we call the Jug Handle or Area D, and then the land where our water tower sits. So they broke ground on the project that will go forward with a gas station and a popular rapid service restaurant establishment.
That we don't have in Salem already.
That will be new to our area because Kaiser's awesome. So stay tuned for 2020. You think the excitement was over? Oh no, we're just getting started. So, but it was wonderful to celebrate with prayers and drumming with the leaders of both tribes out there at Chemawa Station, and that project will be going forward. So I want to commend the leadership of both of those nations as they are working together for a project that will benefit both economically and in terms of job opportunities. Let's see. Oh, the other very, very big news. So on December 6th, the Mid-Willamette Valley Homeless Alliance submitted our completed application to Housing and Urban Development in Washington, D.C. to reestablish our continuum of care. 5 days later, we got approval. It's done.
Shocking.
It was just stunning. They were so helpful working with our contractors, former Commissioner Janet Carlson and Jan Calvin on our side. The HUD advisors on their side have been extremely helpful and responsive in putting together the application. Every T was crossed, every I was dotted. Most importantly, the data and the background that we put together through the Homeless Initiative, that strategic plan, the data that we have through Arches, the data that we have from our asset map, all the work that we've been doing these last few years, all were part of that application. We're approved. So this is a month earlier than we anticipated, so we'll be moving more rapidly into the planning and the establishment of the ongoing governance structure for our Marion Polk Continuum of Care. The teamwork on this has been phenomenal, and I was just stunned when I opened that email and said, "You are approved," capital letters. Yes. Huge for us. I do want to echo what has been said about the successful opening of In-N-Out Burger. I was there Thursday morning greeting some of the folks who were there early in line, talking to some of the people from the media, and it was fun. People were there to have a good time, celebrate. It's a shared experience for people who are fans, and apparently the power of suggestion, as Council President Freeman said, was so much that every burger joint in the area was slammed because everybody's thinking like, yeah, burger sounds really good. So I went to one of my favorite places and they said, well, yeah, we do have burgers, but we ran out of buns. Okay. So congratulations, welcome In-N-Out Burger to the Kaiser family of businesses. Let's see. Oh, one more thing. It was on yesterday, the 15th, a facility called Safe Sleep opened over on Front Street. It's a small shelter, but it is providing an opportunity for women to sleep in a secure place rather than be out on the streets. But almost half of our homeless, especially our chronically homeless in this area, are women. And they face the same challenges as the men, but one of the things that they encounter almost on a nightly basis is assault and sexual assault. So this has been the work of Women United through United Way in partnership with Inside Out Church, right across the street from Salvation Army. Tremendous collaboration to provide a place to start, starting with 10, but hoping to grow that for more and more women to be able to sleep safely. Once they start to sleep safely, they can then start on their path toward engaging with services, and the goal is to move them into permanent supported housing and on a trajectory towards being housed and successful. So very, very proud and thankful for Women United for working to put this together for women in our community. Lastly, thank you, Council President Freeman, for taking care of the executive session tonight. Today I was at the Oregon Business Plan Leadership Summit up in Portland. This is an annual event where you have business leaders, the state government, federal delegation, and a lot of state and local, or county and local elected officials talking about our economy, where we have been, and you get a preview of where some of the legislative leadership are thinking for next year. Hang on, it's going to be a ride, Windsor session. So that was very informative, and I think that it's going to help us understand what's going to be impacting our community in 2020. And that is all I've got. I do have the Oregon Transportation Commission tomorrow. They're meeting with the Area Commission on Transportation and the Metropolitan Planning Organization chairs. I am the latter. So it'll be interesting to see what they have to say. And then we have the Council of Governments Board right after that. The one thing I do want to mention that I failed to do last time was to acknowledge and to thank Greg Frank. He passed away on November 15th of this year. He's a former fire chief for Kaiser Fire District for 17 years. Of course, we knew him also as the owner and operator of True Value Hardware, both here and in West Salem. And he and his family were such great volunteers in the community, well loved. It was a beautiful celebration of his life. I want to extend our condolences to Jan Frank and the family, and also a thank you for the wonderful service of the life of Greg Frank. So I'll make sure people knew about that. And that is all I've got. So we will go to other business.
We have a youth counselor here tonight.
You know what? I did forget our youth counselor. You know what? I'm going to go to you, sir.
All right, that's all right. I don't have much to report other than that Christmas break is starting next week, so Salem Kaiser Public Schools, no school next week and the week after that, so less roads in the early morning, kids being driven and driving to school and stuff like that, so yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. So other business this time is provided to allow the mayor, city council members, or staff an opportunity to bring new or old matters before council that are not on tonight's agenda. City manager.
Madam Mayor, first off, I'm going to apologize for the faulty ceiling light that we have. I'm glad that nobody in the room has had a seizure this evening. So,
It's very uncomfortable.
yeah, I know, it certainly draws your attention. I also went to the Chamber of Commerce / Rotary luncheon this last week and got to listen to the McNary Highlanders sing 4 or 5 songs, and those kids are talented. They're just flat out awesome.
Yeah.
So it's always amazing to listen to the talent that our youth have bringing. So, Tracy.
Happy holidays.
Question.
You too.
Chris, I have a question.
Yes.
So how is the recruitment going for the community center assistants?
I believe that there's about 6 or 7 applications, and that's it. So it closes on January 5th. So if you know of anybody interested in the position, please refer them to our website.
All right.
Very good. Tim.
I have nothing else to add.
Chief.
I'll encourage shoppers to remember to secrete your packages in your cars and get them off your front porch as soon as you can. We have a team out with, we call them bait packages, trackable packages. And if somebody steals them, I'm sure nobody watching this council meeting would do that. Hope we can put a dent in it. The biggest dent would be taken by people taking care of their packages. Thank you.
Just one thing, I just want to acknowledge the Public Works staff for their efforts in putting together the float for the parade last Saturday night. They won a trophy for best choreography. I should have thought to bring it to show everybody tonight, but I did not. But congratulations to the staff and all the hard work in putting that together.
It was adorable. It was a Lego house, and the Legos on the roof all had lights that went with the music. And this was all done on the staff people's time, own time.
No.
No? It's all part of the city. But incredible creativity.
It's a semi-annual team-building exercise for the Public Works Department. It's semi-annual because we do a float for the Irish Festival Parade and the Holiday Lights Parade. And the staff really enjoy doing it. It gives an opportunity for folks who don't usually get to interact with each other to interact with each other in a way that's not work, but it's work. So, yeah. And the results were very, very good.
Absolutely beautiful. The craftsmanship was amazing.
Mr. Johnson,
Nothing tonight, thank you.
any questions for anybody before I move on? Council?
I want to say thank you to the Kaiser Police Department. They did a great job on the traffic control on River Road for the parade. It was great. Those cars just like, oh, okay, stop, and then they did. I mean, nobody tried to run through them or run them over or anything.
That's good.
I had Marlene carrying barricades and also directing traffic too, so.
I did, I actually did, but the barricades were bigger than me, but we got through it.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
All right, thank you very much. I've got 2 items of written communication. One, and I think you have gotten this one, is a letter from Marty McGee, the son of the late Dr. Jerry McGee. So first, I want to say a very late thanks for the really cool plaque that you made for me and my sisters and Diane Monroe. It's a beautiful plaque and very nice proclamation. I would also like to say a very late thank you very much for all the things you did for me and my sisters after my dad passed away. It was a really tough time, and all the things you did helped relieve a lot of stress. My mom and dad loved the city of Kaiser, and they loved being a part of the city government and just being part of Kaiser, a really great city and a place to live. I received a group text from one of my sisters after my dad died, conveying a message, I believe it was from Jeff Cowan. He said there were 7 $1,000 scholarships for students at McNary High School. An anonymous donor donated a $1,000 donation to the Kaiser Rotarians, creating an 8th scholarship. The anonymous donor titled the scholarship the Jerry McGee Scholarship. I really hate to bother you with this, but I don't know where else to send it to, and I know that you're someone who gets things done. Enclosed is a check for $1,000 that I would like to go to the Jerry McGee Scholarship. If you get this to the Kaiser Rotarians, and we have, I would appreciate it. Also, in the coming years, I would like to donate $1,000 each year to the Jerry McGee Scholarship. I think my dad would feel honored to have a scholarship in his name supporting McNary High School students. I feel very honored that an anonymous donor donated $1,000 to my dad's name. Thank you very much. Keep up the good work. Marty McGee from Surprise, Arizona.
Very nice.
So, very nice. And yes, the check was taken care of. That scholarship will be rewarded, and we will send a note to let him know that that is the case. And I'm going to use one of our beautiful city Christmas cards to do so. And I also received a letter from Mayor Nystrom, from the mayor of the city of Norwich, Connecticut. It's a lengthy letter, but the upshot of it is that their team also is on the short list from Major League Baseball to be eliminated, and is asking for our support, to share support among all of the cities whose teams have been targeted by Major League Baseball. And unless there's any dissension, I will send a note back to Mayor Nystrom, indicating our support for him and for all of the minor league baseball teams at the 42 cities across the nation that are such an important part of our communities. So I will take care of that. All right, agenda input. We will meet next year, January 6th, 7 p.m. in regular session. On January 13th, we will meet in council work session, city goal review, council goal review, and progress report. We'll be looking also at the staffing and resources that we've been talking about, and kind of putting together what things that we need as a city to be thinking about for longer range planning. We'll meet again then on January 21st, which is a Tuesday at 7 p.m. in regular session, because the Monday is a holiday. That is all I have. Is there anything else for the good of the order? That I would join with everybody else. Merry Christmas, a very happy New Year. Please be safe out there. The time is 8:19, and we are adjourned.